Thank you.
Chris, as someone who has watched your show for years, I know that you're not just going to let the rhetoric carry the day. And I actually listened to the testimony. And what I heard was mayors talking about what actually makes us safer. And what makes us safer is when local law enforcement doesn't have to do the job of other federal agencies, but they get to focus on what they're paid to do, which is to build relationships with the citizens in their community and keep those folks safe. And so every one of those mayors testified that they were going to follow federal law, that they have always followed federal law, and that everything that they were doing was to keep their community safe and need drops in the crime rates in those cities.
Wesley, I'm with you, and you're right. Nobody gets a pass. And I understand the origination of sanctuary cities and the incidents where local police were getting sued because they were holding people too long because ICE wasn't doing its job. But Holman is doing it differently. And if the feds want to come in and coordinate with local law enforcement to enforce federal law, we both know that the federal law comes first and they're supposed to obey it. It doesn't matter about how safe your city is. It's about enforcing federal law, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I'll say this. When we talk about serious and violent offenders, no one is opposed to holding them accountable. Let me be clear on that. I'm a former prosecutor, so we were very clear on our approach that we were going to hold serious and violent offenders accountable. And that's what I heard in those hearings. Now, there's a difference between the policy and there's a difference between the political vitriol. Sometimes policy takes a little bit more time to explain, so it's easier to throw blanket statements and say, well, Democrats are just doing this, when in the fact is that Democrats are concerned with keeping folks safe. We're concerned with the relationship between local law enforcement and communities. I work very closely with law enforcement in my communities and focusing on doing the things that keep people safe, but also upholding federal